Hello, Amanda. How are you doing?
Hey Jason, doing well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. We've got through a few technical issues this morning. I'm still using the wrong camera. You can see the underside of my basement floor here. But otherwise, things are actually going well. We just had a really awesome conversation with Anthony. I don't know if you saw that,
Yeah.
learning about custom vision. So give us just a maybe two sentence idea of what we're going to learn from your presentation, and then we'll move forward.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about how you can extract business value from conversation data, from text and audio data, and so we're going to use it to drive business models forward.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to get out of the way on this one and let you have the stage and take control. We will address all the questions at the very end. So if you've got questions, drop those into Learn TV, into the chat, and we'll throw those up and chat with you at the very end. So I'll
Sounds
let you
good.
have it.
All
Good
right,
luck.
thanks, Jason.
Bye.
Yeah. All right, hi everyone. Welcome to our second session, Extracting Value from Text and Audio Used to Inform Business Strategy. I'm Amanda Wong, and I am a cloud architect at Microsoft. Today, we're going to go over how you can use Azure to add speech and language capabilities to your business applications. Our use case is an online retailer's customer service center. But the concepts and tools you'll learn here today will apply to many other scenarios as well. Let's get started. The customer support center that we are going to improve belongs to Tailwind Traders, an online retailer for home improvement tools and services. Like online organizations across industries right now, Tailwind Traders relies on call centers and support agents to deliver excellent customer service. However, with everyone at home during the pandemic, the demand for home improvement tools has skyrocketed. It makes sense. Consumers are spending less money on entertainment and travel and more money on those long lists of projects that they've been meaning to get to. In fact, the latest US Census Bureau report came out with a statistic that almost 25% of sales have gone up since the start of the pandemic at home improvement stores. So what does this mean for Tailwind Traders? It's great for business. But with this increase in sales, we're also seeing a new demand for support among customers. But Tailwind Traders has something its competitors don't. It's completely online. So this is a great opportunity to grow since more folks are shopping online these days than going into stores. So we want to take advantage of this opportunity of being completely online by standing out with excellent customer service and using customer insights to scale more quickly than competitors during the pandemic. Enter Azure Cognitive Services. Our goal is to make Tailwind Traders Support Center a truly modern, intelligent call center. With AI, we're going to improve Tailwind Traders Customer Center to automate processes and help them learn from every single support ticket. That's right, every one of the thousands and thousands of support tickets that we see every day. By adding speech and language capabilities, we can ultimately help Tailwind Traders reduce costs, identify areas for improvement, and overall increase customer satisfaction. To do this, we'll be walking you through how to use Azure to store massive amounts of text and audio data. We'll also show you how to analyze that data using cognitive services. And finally, we'll create automated workflows using logic apps and extract valuable insights using Power BI. Let's learn a little bit more about what we're dealing with here. Tailwind Trader support tickets come in mainly two forms: emails and phone call recordings. They want to learn from both of these at the same time. But this is kind of tricky, dealing with two different types of data. On the one hand, you've got unstructured data, which you can think of as the most common data types around us: photos, PDFs, phone call recordings. In fact, we have a great session right after this about unstructured data, so make sure you stick around and stay tuned for that as well. But in contrast to unstructured data, we have structured data, which is a lot more database friendly and easily machine readable. Emails from customers are a great example of structured data because they come in consistent formats. Instead of having separate storage options, we're going to simplify the process a little bit and turn to Azure Blob Storage because it's great for both types. Azure Blob Storage also scales really well. With the holidays coming up, we might see an uptick in requests for help with orders for Tailwind Traders. Not a problem at all because Azure Blob Storage can provision resources and storage space as needed. In fact, using Azure Blob Storage is unbelievably easy. Let's take a look. Here we are in Azure Blob Storage Explorer, which is a free desktop tool, and we're going to navigate to our blob container for Tailwind traders. And we're going to just upload some new data that we have seen from customers in the form of emails or phone call recordings. And once we upload that, we're going to make sure that it looks right. And while that loads, of course, you can use the API or SDK for Azure Storage Explorer to access your blob. But here is our data right here. And it's a great way to visualize and retrieve your data using Azure Storage Explorer. So now that we know where we're putting our data, the next step is to analyze it using the Text Analytics API to extract new insights. With Azure's Text Analytics API, we can take in call transcripts and emails and analyze them for sentiment, extract key phrases, and identify proper nouns. Sentiment analysis is actually a really amazing tool because it provides a score on each customer's input and whether their statements reflect a negative, neutral, or positive outlook on the company. Today, we're going to use it to learn where customers are having the most negative sentiment or pain points, as well as the highest positive sentiment, to see where we can improve the areas of business. After that, we're going to turn to key phrase extraction, which is going to help us get a high-level overview of what each support ticket is really about. Key entity extraction takes that one step further by giving us specific product names or even the names of our peer companies as valuable information in improving the business model. There's a lot more that this Text Analytics API can do. These three methods that you see here are just some of the several that it offers, as well as many of the other Azure Cognitive services that we have. So we highly encourage you to check those out to see what it can do for your business applications. Let's see the Text Analytics API in action. So first, our original data is in the form of a CSV table, and this is all the metadata of our phone call transcripts and emails, such as date created, whether it's been escalated, the region that it came from. And on the far right, we can see the raw text input that we want to analyze. So we wrote a simple Python script using the Text Analytics API. And when we run that on the code, we will get an output CSV table that looks pretty much the same as our input table. But on the far right, you can see two new columns, key phrases and sentiment. And this is giving us the key phrases for every single customer support ticket, as well as the sentiment. And that's awesome. We're going to show you how we can use this data in a moment. We said earlier that we wanted to make this customer service center intelligent. Well, now we're going to build a machine learning model to predict what a customer's concern is about for every new support ticket that we see. Azure's Language Understanding Service, or LUIS for short, is a low-code route to training and testing a natural language understanding model to support the call center. With LUIS, we will classify each language input by analyzing what's being said and categorizing it as one of several business area concerns, such as design recommendations, pricing questions, security help. For example, if someone's asking us about an update on when their delivery might arrive, we can troubleshoot that by sending it to a specialized team that is trained to deal with those logistics questions to close out that case much more quickly. Being able to filter calls and direct customers to get the right kind of help based on their problem can increase customer service efficacy and efficiency. So here are a few concepts, as you can see on the slide, that are key in training and testing a model in LUIS. With entities, we get some metadata, some high-level overview of the support ticket, it's a good snapshot of what's going on. This is very similar to what we just saw in the Text Analytics API key phrases method. And with intents, we can understand the underlying goal or action of the user in every language input that they give us. Training a custom model can be done visually through LUIS's UI-based interface at luis.ai. Of course, you can use an API or SDK, but here we're showing you the interface of all of the intents or business categories that we're interested in searching for in every new support ticket that we get. So let's look at one of the business categories or intents. And here is one of the examples that we are using to train the model. The hammer I purchased is supposed to be ergonomic. Everything's supposed to be ergonomic now that we're all at home. Our tables, our chairs, even our hammers. So this is an example that we labeled through www.lewis.ai. You can upload a training data set yourself to this interface or through a Python script. But here we found it a lot easier to label training examples. And here's another one about asking about available brands for kitchen tables. We're going to train and publish this model. And so now that we've done that, we can test it with a new utterance, pretending we're a customer, I don't know, asking about who to call if we want to get a bathtub installed. And so Lewis is going to think based off of the trained data and say that's about services with a 0.873 confidence score. So that is your introduction to training a natural language understanding model to classify input text from customers. We didn't have to write much code at all. It was through this interface, so it made it a lot easier and faster. Now let's transition to how we can complete the full modernization of the call center. Simply categorizing customer concerns doesn't help that more support requests are slamming the support center every day. And with more traffic coming to the website, we certainly don't want to hurt potential sales by giving customers a bad experience. We're going to use two apps to accomplish this, Logic Apps and Power BI. And together, they'll optimize Tailwind Traders' response to existing and future support tickets. Let's start with Logic Apps. Logic Apps is a no-code way to automate workflows by combining apps that are critical to your business. For us, those apps are going to be Outlook and Lewis. We'll set up a system so that customers can receive an automatic email with relevant information to their inquiry. And while they sit tight on the back end, the support ticket is going to be forwarded to the proper logistics team to close out that case much more quickly. And once we automate those workflows, we're going to turn to Power BI for help on visualizing our data from a high level using our business intelligence tool, Power BI. A Power BI dashboard can make it easier to understand how to resolve common issues and reduce future support call volumes. So what's the takeaway here? The takeaway is that it's easy to share high-level insights with a leadership or product team, since you can customize visualizations and dig deep into potential opportunities for improvement. You can see here in the Logic Apps Designer interface that we set up a connection to the Tailwind Traders email so that we check for any new emails that we get from customers. We parse that object and pass it to Lewis to get that intent, that prediction that we just saw. We unwrap that and use it to send an email back to the customer. You can also use Adobe, GitHub, and Outlook, and many other apps that are relevant to your business workflows. So let's see this in action. Let's run it. Let's pretend we're a customer contacting Tailwind Traders. We want to make sure that this works. We're contacting them about our kitchen sink not being delivered yet. With delivery services backed up, we would like an update. So we'll send this off, and back in Logic Apps Designer, we can see that all green is a go. It processed that email correctly. And on our end as the customer, we can see that Tailwind Traders has told us to sit tight. We can see you're contacting us about delivery speed, which is correct. And in the meantime, our email is being handled by the appropriate team. Again, you can do so much more with Logic Apps to make repetitive business needs more efficient by automating them with your own custom app. And remember, when I said that we'll learn from every customer support ticket, think about it. The thousands and thousands of support tickets are going to come in play right here. And this demo shows a custom Power BI dashboard that we created using custom Python scripts. You can see here we can select by region, we can filter by negative, neutral, or positive sentiment, as well as see the key phrases. But if you don't want to use a custom Python script, you can use one of our built-in visualizations, such as a word cloud, as you can see in the top left, top middle. And you can select different words, and the visualizations will refresh accordingly. But if you prefer to view this data quantitatively, on the far right side, you can see that we selected the top 3 business categories or intents where customers had the highest negative sentiment. And these 3 issues, services, price, and delivery speed, these are the areas of concern where customers had the most pain points. So we definitely want to dig deep into here and see what we can do better and how to help Tailwind traders. When it comes to service issues, we can see that the most frequently used words have been refunds and orders. When it comes to price issues, we can see that customers are asking a lot about discounts. So maybe this is a good time for Tailwind traders to use this information to set up some deals for customers and get more sales into the business. So we could take it even one step further and analyze the correlation between specific product names and sentiment. There are so many opportunities here to learn from the data. High-level visualizations of what's going on helps us make sense of the thousands and thousands of business tickets to understand the health of Tailwind traders. This way, Tailwind traders doesn't have to drill down into the specifics. They can give a high-level overview to decision makers to drive the company forward in a volatile environment and grow in areas that are in demand. So with that, we hope you learned a lot about speech and language offerings in Azure. Modernizing a call center is just one of the many ways that speech and language AI capabilities can be applied to solve business challenges. The processes we learned today can be applied to many other scenarios where conversation is involved. Think of medical consultations, sales calls, business meetings. The AI tools that we share today can help. So if you want to learn more about how cognitive services can help solve your business challenges, get hands-on at MS Learn at aka.ms/AIML20. And again, we're going to prop open the certification prompt. So learning this material is a big step towards becoming Microsoft certified. Check out aka.ms/AI900. And I will be joined by my teammate Devanshi to talk with Jason about any questions and to talk more about the issues that we discussed today.
Awesome. That was amazing, Amanda. Thank you so much for that demonstration. And hello, Devanshi. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How's everyone? That was a great session. We've had some great ones in the past as well. I've been tuning in.
Yeah. In fact, so many of the subjects that you were going through there are near and dear to me. First of all, the logic apps is something I feel like I'm doing a logic app like once a week that solve some problem I have. So to see those in action here is pretty fun. And then I love that you brought up Lewis, the language understanding aspect. We didn't get to talk too much about that with Anthony in his demo, but the idea that we can now look at text and understand what people mean, or at least develop a probability around what they mean, is, I think, what opens up demos like you showed, open up the brain to like realize there's so many things we could be doing if we just took the time to understand what people are really asking for. I know personally, I've had a lot of support tickets with different service providers just this past year that we go round and round and round. And I feel like this demo that you showed off today would have solved so much of my headache and problems, and we could have got right to the solution. So very interesting presentation. We've got definitely some good questions in chat. So if you've got more questions, drop those in there. We're going to get through them as quickly as we can here before we move on to the next one. So one comment that we had, or statement we had in chat over on Learn TV from Brandon Toes, was that Logic Apps service seems like a more broad version of Power Automate. Is that an accurate description? So
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So Logic Apps is basically the bigger brother. So Power Automate is built off of Logic Apps, and that's how it works. Yeah. So that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And anybody who's been in Power Automate or the Power Platform in general, there's a lot of stuff that kind of all works very similar. But yeah, that's a good point. It's pretty much same technology. Another question we have is what other, maybe this is more for Amanda, are there other use cases that you can think of off the top of your head that some of the stuff you're showing off might benefit from?
Yeah, so we were talking about towards the end how some of these capabilities can be used for medical consultations or sales calls. I mean, with sales calls, you can use natural language understanding models and Lewis to understand what a potential customer or partner might be looking for, and you can help make that a more seamless conversation. You can also maybe train a natural language understanding model on the conversation that you're having with a potential sales partner or customer to understand, how can what words are maybe working to make this pitch go better, and use that to improve overall how you train your sales teams.
Yeah, and Devanshi, do you have any other examples that you can think of as well?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so another thing you can work on is, let's say you're taking a bunch of Twitter tweets and you're trying to figure out what the main key phrases are, what the main topic is at hand. So you can take a popular hashtag, right? Let's say climate change, and you want to see what are the main topics that are being talked about within climate change. And so you would just use the text analytics API that Amanda showed, extract the key phrases, and there you go. You know what's being talked about.
Yeah, no, I love that. I actually saw a demo yesterday from another cloud advocate that uses text messaging, some SMS, and does sentiment analysis on that text messaging as it comes in, just to sort of clarify, I think, the way this person and another person communicate. I think there's some vagueness there. And so anyway, it was just a fun project to try to like cut through the cruft and actually figure out what does this person really mean. So this is really great stuff. What other types of stuff, Amanda, or what other things should people go explore who are curious to learn more about Lewis and the things that they can do with that?
Yeah, well, we definitely recommend that you check out, start with the Lewis interface, lewis.ai. We also have lots of other cognitive services documentation about the different offerings with speech. We're coming out with something where Lewis can analyze perhaps longer sentiments and be plugged into maybe even calls so that it can be processed in real time. So definitely stay up to date on what's coming on the horizon.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we've got another talk coming up here momentarily from Amy Boyd, who's going to go into unstructured data with AI. You can start to see a theme through these first three talks already, in that it's all about data, right? It's about going in and understanding what do we have available to us. The world as we know it now is just generating more and more data constantly, and making sense of that data. It seems to be really the overarching goal of AI and a lot of the things that we're going over today. It's not to take anybody's tasks away necessarily. It's not to take any jobs away. It's to kind of create other new scenarios for more folks and enable more people. So thank you so much for everything that you showed off today. Devanshi, thanks for jumping in and answering a few questions for us and adding your input.